Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. And let's get our week off to a good start as we go back to the 106th Psalm, Psalm 106. Go ahead and like and share the post as you find in your place, and we will jump back in there just to uh, refresh your memory after the weekend. Again, this psalm is a companion to the 105th Psalm. The 105th Psalm was a psalm that discussed God's faithfulness to Israel. Now, the 106th Psalm discusses how Israel had been unfaithful to God. Their idolatry, their adultery, their just pagan actions. And we stopped Saturday speaking about the golden calf that the Israelites made during the Exodus. I'm going to back up. I kind of stopped in a bad place Saturday, so we're going to back up and we're actually going to start, pick up in verse 19 this morning as the psalmist says there, says they made a calf and worshiped the molten image. And then verse 20 says, "Thus they changed their glory into the similitude of an ox that eateth grass. They forgot God their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea." Um, Probably one of the most, when you really get down to it, and again, if you read through the Old Testament and you look at the decisions that were made by the Jews, obviously the most shocking decision they made was rejecting the Messiah and calling for the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I think it's arguably the second most shocking decision that they made was creating this golden calf to worship. A nation who had, from its infancy, been raised to, been brought up to focus on Jehovah, who had been uh, blessed by Jehovah, who had had so many things done for them uh, by Him. At the point when they made the golden calf, again had seen the story, heard the story of Joseph, as was recalled to us in the 105th Psalm, how God had worked through those events in the life of Joseph to actually preserve the entire nation of Israel and to supply their needs, the food that they needed, a roof over their head. Then, when that went south, how God had delivered them out of Egypt through the use of the plagues and sending Moses, leading them out of Egypt. Again, with the fire, with the cloud, bringing them through the Red Sea, water from a rock, manna from heaven, quail from heaven, just numerous things that God had done for them. And then at the first opportunity, while Moses was up on the mount, at that first opportunity, they go and create this golden calf, melt down their jewelry, and make themselves an idol. And that's got to be, if it's not number two, most shocking things in the history of Israel. It's got to be way up the list for a people who had been given so much and had so much provided for them, who had such a promise. Again, going back to the promise that God made to Abraham to make them a great nation, and to see them stoop to this level, to have seen the living God, to see His power demonstrated. Again, to just the cloud and the fire that led them day and night alone, to see visibly the handiwork of God, to see Him daily, again, constantly. It wasn't like God, again, they had this pillar of cloud by day, this fire by night to lead them. So they had a constant reminder of the presence of God in their nation. They had their history that we know they were very aware and even, dare I say, proud of their history as we see them all the way into the New Testament. At every turn, reminding Jesus that they were of their father Abraham. And so they knew the story of Abraham. They knew about Isaac. They knew about Joseph. They knew all these things, plus what they could visibly see in their present circumstance, that God, that they had a living, working, powerful God, and to go out and to begin to worship a God, an idol, not even a God if you get down to it. I mean, it was a golden calf. It had done nothing. They had created it with their own hands, and that is just, to me, stunning, that a people would go to that level and stoop to idolatry, having experienced what they have. Having seen what they had been through, and seen the handiwork of God, the power of God demonstrated, and it can only come down to one statement: they forgot God. It says there in the 21st verse, they forgot God that had done great things. And sadly, that is the only way a person really can go into um, those depths, is to forget about the things that God had done. And I think one of the things I'd like to comment on there is the word forget. I think forget is I think the word forget to us in today's English may not really cover what happened. It wasn't they forgot. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe they forgot about the plagues. It's kind of hard to believe they forgot about the Red Sea. It's kind of hard to believe they forgot about the manna. It's kind of hard to believe they actually forgot those things. And so forgot, I'm not sure is the completely appropriate word. I think a better word would be, for our understanding, is they chose to overlook those things. They chose to ignore those things, and to put those things aside and create this golden calf. They hadn't forgot that God had done those plagues. They didn't forget the miracles. They couldn't forget the manna. They were still eating. They couldn't forget those things. They were still in the wilderness journey. They were still in the Exodus. They were in the middle of it. It wasn't that they forgot those things. They chose to overlook them. If somehow we could say they forgot them, it may even be understandable. We might say they got hit in the head with a rock and couldn't remember, but no, they didn't. They didn't forget. They just chose to create this idol. They chose to put God aside. They hadn't forgot about their Egyptian bondage and what they had been through in Egypt, and so they just simply ignored God. they ignored him, and God, because of that, is ready, it says in verse 23, to destroy them. Had Moses not stood for them, stood in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. I think this morning we need to really, I think, soak in the message of these few verses. It is a dangerous thing to overlook the work of God. It is a dangerous thing for us to ignore the blessings of God. Another way, I guess we could say it, it's very dangerous for us to be ungrateful to our God for all that He does for us and all that of His provisions. And so this morning, my challenge to us from this passage to all of us, because sometimes we may have not created a golden calf, but I think sometimes if we can get careless and forget to use the biblical word. We can fail to remember. We can overlook sometimes the goodness of God. And so the challenge for us today, as we start another week, is let's go out into the world today. Let's go out into the world this week and be very aware and pay a close attention to the handiwork, to the gifts, the power of God that are demonstrated and provided on our behalf. I think if we were more alert, we would be really surprised at how good our God is. All right, I hope that challenges your heart today, and be aware, be alert. Don't set aside, don't overlook the handiwork and the power and the goodness of our God. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.